Hello, this is Dave Olender from olenderconsulting.com. I'm going to do a little presentation here on how to do print breaking and routing. So the scenario I have is actually from an actual customer of mine, and they have very kindly allowed me to use their pilot instance. They're a SaaS customer, and so I'll be using the pilot instance on their system. So you may see their name. It's American Flexible Products is the customer. So the scenario that they were asking me to provide them a solution for was when they have an AR invoice that's printed, the controller would like an email sent to the primary billing contact for that customer, like that done automatically. And if there is no email address for the primary billing contact, then send a separate email to the controller so he's aware that an email address is missing. So I've kind of assembled just a quick 7-step shortcut of how to do this. The first step is going to be create a new report style for the break routing rule. Again, you don't have to do that. You could just add the breaking routing rule to an existing one, but I've chosen to go separate report style. Then create a report data definition. Add the customer contact table so we can get the email. Then create the breaking routing rule and break by the invoice number, because we're going to be doing an AR invoice here, or it'll be a group, right? It most likely is going to be a group. So then we're going to add a condition to check for a proper, correct email address. Then we're going to add a filter, which you don't really have to do, but I'm doing that because it allows you to do multiple branches. So you can do things like send an email and print, whereas if you just do a condition element, you really can only do one thing. So, and then step 6 would be to create 2 email templates, one for the address found, one for the email not found, and then we'll test it. So let's get started. I kind of create a Word document that I printed out, and I'm going to try and follow that. So I'll apologize if I pause during the presentation here a little bit, just to make sure that I stick to my own script, right? So, all right. So the first thing is create a new report style. All right. So as you can see, I'm logged in. Let's go to report style under system management. Let's pull up the AR. Oops. Wow. I don't even know what that is. Huh, must be new. Oh, it's a BAQ report. Huh. How interesting. Well, it's not the right one. Let's go with AR form. There we go. All right. So as you can see, I kind of already have a report style here. And I'm going to leave that because that's my working copy. I'll fall back on that if I need to. But what I'm going to do is copy this report style. So now there is a copy function here, but I'm not going to do that because this is an SSRS report style, and if I run the copy, then it's going to create a whole new instance on the server and of the RDL files, and I don't want that really. I just want a report style that references the same information. So usually what I'll do is just do a Control A to highlight this report location and do a Control C to copy it. And then what I'll do is we'll just say create a new report style, but it's blank, it's not, right? And then we'll just kind of copy, we're going to say MNEUG routing test. Let's do that. Okay, it's going to be a SQL Server. Data definition is going to be, I'm going to use the same one, which is this guy. And for the report location, I'm going to put the exact same thing in. For SSRS, we output to a database. And let's save that. All right. So we've got, it's It's not the default, so we'll have to select that. Tell you what, I'm gonna make it the default for now. All right. So we've created a report style that's going to and actually, you know what? Should we test that out just to see if it works? So I went into invoice entry. Okay, let's pick my group, which is the Dave O group. Okay, and I have a miscellaneous invoice here. So if I say invoice print, okay, here's the report styles. There's our routing test. Let's make sure she runs. Okay, so it previews. There's the Amflex logo. Okay, so that tells me that the report style is set up correctly. And so now I'm going to put that off on the side. Let's go back to report style. All right. So the next thing on my list is going to be to add the customer contact table. And now since I copied my standard SSRS, that table's already there. But just in case yours isn't, which I'm assuming, I don't think the customer contact table is there by default. As a matter of fact, before I go too far into that, let me backtrack just a little bit for people. I'll keep this up and then come back to it. All right, so if I go to the header, is that where it is? Yeah. Let's open up this customer. I created a customer just for the presentation here, so it's not really extensive. So you can see I added a single. This one has a single contact. And I put in my email address, and the trigger here, or the thing we're going to be looking for, is this billing contact, right? That's the checkbox that we're going to use to. So there's really only going to be one of these. So, and if you ever need to look up where these kinds of things point to, if you go to help and then field help, and I usually go to technical details. Let me pin that. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so we can see that this is from the contact primary billing. Now here's this is a little bit confusing here because there really is no specific field for this. There's no contact.primary billing. So, but there's a reference to it in the customer table. So, and I can show you that. How can I show you that? If we go to data dictionary, let's go to that. And I say we want the customer table. Here we go. Wait for that to populate. Let me sort alphabetically. We'll go down to the P's. Here we go. So it's primary billing contact, primary purchasing contact, primary shipping contact. So, but what this field is, it's a number. And that number is the contact number, right? It's the customer contact number. So, so that's where those, how you get to those fields. It's, I know it's a little obtuse, but yeah, once you learn it, it's not so bad. All right, so let me go back to the, where was I going? Data definition, yes. All right. So in our data definition under data sources, you're going to want to add the customer contact table. And I'll highlight that. And unfortunately, it's not real fast. Here we go. This is 10.1.600.7, by the way. So when you bring in the customer contact table, it's going to, well, I'm not sure it still does, but it used to enable everything. And so usually what I'll do is I'll go into actions and I'll say exclude all columns, and then go back and turn on just the ones that you need. Otherwise, you're passing a whole bunch of fields that we just don't care about. So the one thing I would say, and I've heard from some Epicor people, is that the 600 version is very sensitive about the Rev ID, Row ID, and the UD sysrev ID. So make sure you do not exclude those. You want to show those. This is particularly important if you're using Crystal. SSRS, I'm not sure it still is or not, but you know what? I turn them on just as kind of out of habit now. So the fields that I've turned on for the customer contact are some of the obvious ones: company, contact number, customer number, right? Those are kind of the three primary keys that help us get mutual exclusivity, right? And then I've thrown into this the email address, name, the person contact ID, phone number. We're really not using those, but they seemed relevant at the time, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to throw those in there. So they're available. Obviously, you can come back to this data def and add those anytime you want, but for now, I just want to let you know there's more here than what you really need. You really would only need the sysrev, sysrow, these three, the primary keys in the email. I could have stopped right there, right? Those three, the four, those seven pieces are really all I need, because the email address is really what I'm after. Don't even care about name, although it's not a bad thing to have, right? I could use that in the email template, and I may just do that. So anyways, so you bring in the customer contact table, exclude everything, and then go back and turn off the exclusion for primary key and just the fields that you're going to be working with. And then, of course, the next step is to add a relationship, right? Because without the relationship, then you won't get anything output. So in this case, I'm tying the customer contact to the customer table. So I've created a relationship here where I just said, okay, the parent table is going to be the customer. Use the primary key. The child is the customer contact. And this is an area that people get confused by a lot, and I don't understand it either. Definition only means right, a right inner and inner join, right? And output means left outer join. So since there might not be contacts available associated with this customer, we wouldn't want to not print an invoice because we used an inner join. So we're going to say this is an outer join. There might be a customer contact there. There might not be. So by using output, that allows us to do that. And then for the joins, I believe this, if you do this in this just the standard, and I haven't done it here, but it's going to bring in company and custom, and it's going to stop there. But what I've done here is added this one additional piece, which is I've said, okay, from the customer table, we want to use that primary billing contact, right? Which is a number. If you remember, when we went to the data dictionary, there's a number, and that number is going to join up with the contact number in the customer contact table. So, and if you remember, I think I mentioned before, when the primary billing contact, there can only be one per customer, right? So if you pick somebody else, that person it's going to use their email address. There will only be one record here that we're going to get. So because of this, right? Now I tried taking this off and saying, oh, how do I send multiple customers? I haven't been able to get that to work. So I don't know. Somebody else knows how to do that. I've had some people suggest using an email distribution list, right? You could set up one name, send to that name, and then that name would send out emails to whoever. And I'm sure that would work, but it sounds like a lot of maintenance to me, right? So functionally it might work, and there's some other ways too of using attributes. I think customer contact attributes. I've seen that done too, but in this particular scenario, we don't need to do that, and so I'll stop yammering about that. Okay, so we've got our report data definition. You're going to want to save that. Let's see, we're done with the data dictionary for now. Back to the report style. From the report style, you're going to want to pick your new data definition. If you create a new one, you may have just added to the existing one you had, but you want to make sure that's being used. And all right. So where am I in the script? Aha. All right. So we're going to go to the breaking routing rules. Okay. We're going to say we want a new breaking routing rule. All right. So the break table, it wants to know what table are you going to use to break by, and I'm going to say we need to go by invoice head. And because obviously this could be printed as a group, right? So what's going to distinguish one email from another, and that's going to be the invoice head. So that's going to be our break table. Although I think it's a little misleading because it actually includes a bunch of other stuff. So anyways, so we're going to pick the invoice head as the break table, and let's go into the design tab. All right, so we have a design. I think they call this a canvas. That's not too different from the BPM setup. So if you've played with any of those, you'll probably find this very familiar. Okay, do that. Sorry, I'm just checking my script here. Okay, the break. Yes. All right. So we're going to add a break element, and then we're going to join that up. And the break there aren't many options here. You really just have to specify the columns for breaking by. So now if you're printing groups that include span companies, you might want to do company and invoice number. I don't really. This is American Flexes. I don't think they don't do that. So I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm going to set this to invoice num. All right. So we know we're going to break, and by breaking they really mean what distinguishes one set of rules from another, right? I want to send an email. Okay, well, it's an email per what? Per customer, per order, per, that's what the break is. The break says, okay, you're going to do this by invoice number. So All right. So let's oh yeah, I set that. Let's see. Yeah, condition. All right, so we set our break. We're going to go to a condition. Okay. And in the condition, we're going to say, let's give you a couple of options here, right? You can say specified of any rows equal to specified system constant, equal to specified value. You can say by user or by user group. So in this scenario, we're going to say the specified report field of any row is equal to the specified value. All right, so we're going to say we want hang on just a second. Let me make sure I have a, oh yeah, that's right. All right, so what we're trying to do here, so we've done the break, and so now what we need to do is establish the email, right? And we're going to have two branches off of this condition. One's going to be true, one's going to be false, but the condition is going to be specified report field, which is going to be, let's change the table to customer contact, and we want the email address. All right, so we're going to say the customer contact email address report field of any row, and rather than says is equal to, I'm going to say contains, thank you Bruce Larson for that suggestion, contains an @ symbol. Okay, I don't know what the email is, but if it's got an @ symbol in it, I'm going to say it's an email address. So, and it can't be an email address without that. So that's my condition, and that's going to give me a true or a false. And what I'm going to do now is bring in a filter, and this might seem a little confusing because off of the filter, I'm going to go with an email. We'll just kind of draw the big picture stuff right now, right? And then I'm also going to say print preview. All right. So you may say, well, Dave, why are you doing that? Well, because off of the condition element, you really can only do one thing. You can't do two things. But off of a filter, you can. You can have it do. You can do send email and print preview. So for the filter, what I've done, it seems to work. You just say the specified breaking column. We'll just say, and I want this to really always be true. So I'm going to say the company invoice head company breaking column. I'm going to say is not equal to, and then we'll say null. So if the company's not null, then the filter is going to be true, and these two things will happen. So, all right. So for the email, we're going to create a template, and we'll call this email found. And here I'm going to say accounting at americanflexible.com. All right, in the to field, if you right click and say insert fields, again, we can say change this to customer contact, and we want the email address, and we'll say we have to add a title here, customer email. There. CC, I'm not going to CC right now, but in real life we would probably CC this accounting at AmericanFlex.com. So, or even BCC it. But for now, we're just going to say, please see attached invoice. And you can even say invoice number. And you can again go into insert field, go to invoice head, and find invoice num. Oops, gotta give it a name. Invoice num. There. So it'll say, please see attached invoice number, and then it'll list that invoice number. Please pay invoice number, and again, we can do the same thing. Let's do a insert field, and invoice num. Oops, again. I always forget that. All right. Obviously, you're going to want to make yours a little more professional than mine, but I'm just kind of showing you kind of proof of concept kind of stuff here. So, all right. So we've got an email. We have the print preview. There's really nothing to do for print preview. It's either there or it's not. So now these all branch off of the true condition, but there's a false condition too. The false condition. Remember, our condition here was, is there an @ symbol in the customer email address? So if that's true, then of course email and print preview are going to happen. So, but if that is not true, then we need another branch here. So we're going to bring in another filter, and out of the false part of this, again, we're really just going to duplicate the same stuff. We're going to say, okay, I still want an email. It's just not going to go to the customer because I don't know what the customer is. And I probably would want to print preview this also. So, all right. So the filter, we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to say company, okay, is not equal to no. Okay, so again, this will always be true. And just to remind you, I'm only using these because I can do multiple things off of them, right? So if you're only going to do one thing, if you're only going to send email, or you're only going to do, let's say, a print preview, then this line could have gone right to email, and you can skip this whole filter thing. But if you want to do multiple things, then you need to use a filter. So I believe you can do multiple conditions off of a single break too. Just to, I've seen that done in the past. So, all right, so let's whip up a quick email template here. We'll say email not found, and do the same thing at AmericanFlexible.com. Now in the 2, we're just going to hard code this, and I'm going to say deal lender at lenderconsulting.com, which is mine. Subject customer email not found. Okay. Here, let's do the same kind of reference for invoice. And again, we can do the same thing. We'll say invoice num, and invoice num. Okay. And email not entered for customer. All right. And print preview, I don't really need to mess with that at all. So, Okay, so let's. Are we close? I think I'm close. Let's save this and exit. Save it. Enable it. All right, so put that off on the side, and let's go back to invoice entry. I want to print the invoice. And again, we're set to our test. But you can see here that there's a routing checkbox now, right? Because we've created a routing rule. So now I can turn that off, and then all of this logic will be ignored, and it's just going to do whatever I tell it to do right here. But I want it to do what it's, I want it to execute this logic. So what I would expect is that this is going to preview and send me an email. So let's do the preview. Okay, so we got the preview. And this might take a moment. Come on. All right. Oh, there it is. There's our form. All right. So that worked. Took a little time for the email to get there, but it worked. All right. And if I recall, let me take a double check here. Please see attached, and there's my invoice number, right? And here's the invoice number here, and there's the corresponding invoice number. So, all right. So let's go in and let's check the other part of this logic. And do I still have that open? Customer maintenance. Yes, I do. All right. Contacts. Yeah, I can unpin that. All right, so if I leave the billing contact and I take that email address out, and let's save this, and let me refresh this. Okay, let's print the invoice. We want to use our same test. Again, the routing rule is turned on. So I'm just going to hit the print preview. And we will wait for it. Okay. That's the print preview. And the email. That was quicker, wasn't it? All right. Email not entered for customer. There it is. Customer email not found for invoice 37794. Okay. I guess I need to go back and fix that one up. I need to make that one get that one corrected, right? So you can see the routing rule is working for this granted very simple scenario. And yeah, that's about it. Like I said, maybe someone else there. I admittedly am just kind of learning this whole breaking routing thing, and there's some other elements there that I have not really played with. The generate, which I think just if you bring that in, it just looks like it just generates the report, not a preview or anything. So print preview, the print. If you do the print, then it lets you pick, do you want to use the server printer or the client printer? And then you can specify settings like, well, I'll bring it up. You're probably familiar with this, where you can say, oh, I want it to be landscape, or you can set the settings. So I didn't specifically use those, but you can see those. That's what's here. And the user action and DocStar I have not used yet, to be honest with you. So hopefully somebody can educate me sometime on how to use that. But right now I have not used it. So, and for the scenario, this particular scenario, obviously we don't really need the DocStar. So, anyways, that's pretty much it. Do I want to save? No, don't save changes. Yeah. So. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and hopefully I didn't put you all to sleep. And well, if you have questions, you can always shoot me an email, or you know what? I didn't throw that on here, did I? That's very, very sloppy of me. I'm gonna fix that right now. It's DOLender@OlanderConsulting.com. And if anybody would like the copy of this printout, I'll be happy to do that. Send that to you. Just shoot me an email, and I can send you this the printout. So, all right. Thank you for watching.